Hello, everyone. If you are a US citizen or green card holder living outside the United States, you are still subject to US tax compliance. Yes, you heard that right. Because the US is one of only two countries in the world other than Eritrea that uses citizen based taxation rather than residence based taxation. This unique system creates a breeding ground for myths that often lead to unintended non compliance. As an international tax practitioner for the last 15 years, I will share with you the primary tax myths hindering US expats in their US tax compliance. Okay? The I pay tax locally myth. Okay? The myth, you might be thinking, I live in a high tax country like the UK, Germany, Australia, Canada, and pay my local taxes. So I don't owe anything to the US and therefore I don't need to file. But the reality, paying local tax does not exempt you from the requirement to file a US return. While you often can use the foreign tax credit to offset your US liability to zero, you must still file a return. You have to file a return to claim those foreign tax credits. The Internal Revenue Service does not automatically know you already paid tax somewhere else. Okay? The next myth is the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion is automatic. Okay? The myth, my salary is under the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion limit, roughly 126,500 for 2024. So my income is invisible to the Internal Revenue Service. I don't need to file. Here's the reality. The Foreign Earned Income Exclusion is an election. It is not a default. You must file the Form 2555 with a timely tax return to claim it. If you don't file, the Internal Revenue Service technically views your entire worldwide income as taxable until you prove otherwise. The next myth is the physical presence myth. Here's the myth. You might be thinking, I haven't stepped foot in the US for years. So the Internal Revenue Service has no jurisdiction over me. Here's the reality. As long as you hold a US passport or green card, your tax home follows you. Physical absence from the United States does not terminate your status as a US person for tax purposes. The other myth is that the IRS can't find me. Myth. Okay? Some of the people is going to be thinking, well, my foreign bank account is private and the Internal Revenue Service has no way of knowing I live here. The reality, under Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, otherwise known as FATCA, most foreign banks now report the accounts of US citizens directly to the Internal Revenue Service. If your bank asked you for a Form W-9, or confirm your U.S. place of birth, they are likely already sharing your data with the Internal Revenue Service. What about the I'm a dual citizen myth? Okay. You might be thinking, I was born in the US, but I have moved away as a baby and have never worked there. I am a citizen of my current country, so I'm not a US taxpayer. That is also wrong. The reality, these are often called accidental Americans. Unless you have formally renounced your citizenship at the US Embassy and paid the expatriation fees, you are legally required to file US taxes on your worldwide income, regardless of where you feel your loyalty lies. The other myth is in relation to FBAR, thinking that FBAR is part of the tax return. Okay? So, a taxpayer may think, I filed my Form 1040 already, so I am fully compliant. But here's the reality. The Foreign Bank Account Reporting, FBAR, which is reported in FinCEN Form 114, it is a separate report for foreign bank accounts exceeding 10,000 in aggregate at any point during the year. The FBAR or Form 114 is filed with the Treasury Department, not the IRS. Forgetting your FBAR filing requirement can lead to willful or non-willful penalties that are often much higher than the actual tax debt. Okay? The FBAR is one of the disclosure returns. There are other lot more disclosure returns that you can be subject at. Okay? The other one is the renouncing fixes everything myth. Okay? You might think you already renounced your citizenship, and so your past tax problems will go away. The reality, to renounce properly, you generally must prove 5 years of U.S. tax compliance, among others. If you renounce without being compliant, you may be hit with an exit tax and categorized as a covered expatriate. This, being a covered expatriate, carries significant financial consequences. So, if you have fallen behind due to these myths, the IRS offers various procedures that may be applicable to your circumstances. One of them is called the Streamlined Filing Compliance Procedures. This Amnesty program allows non-willful taxpayers to get caught up by filing 3 years of back taxes and 6 years of foreign bank account reporting without facing late filing or FBAR penalties. However, there are eligibility rules that you have to meet before you can use the streamlined filing compliance procedures. Okay? If you want clarity on your specific situation, please email hello@usautax.com to book a short US clarity call with me. Okay? Disclaimer: this video is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute professional tax, legal, or financial advice. No practitioner-client relationship is formed by watching this content. Under IRS Circular 230, This information cannot be used to avoid federal tax penalties. Tax laws change frequently. Always consult with a qualified tax professional regarding your specific situation.